Welcome to Seeing Dead People, the mystery storytelling podcast with a clairvoyant twist. We end every episode with Darcy answering a question from a listener about her psychic process. Now, just before I let you go, as always, I want to nail you with a listener's question.
Okay.
Last episode was a great one. We went to a haunted house. A young woman named DInah being spooked by entities. We had a really interesting show. And during that show, you mentioned that DInah had protectors.
Yeah, guides.
Yeah, guides. People who knew her. I think they were her relatives. Unfortunately, and you said you thought they would do her well. You know, she would be okay. Later that night and into the morning, she had a very disturbing experience. Something occurred to her in her sleep, during her sleep, which she described as quite an assault. So my question to you is, how did this happen if she has protectors?
Actually, since I've talked to her since, one of the things I realized is I may be able to see the people who look after her, spirit guides, her family and stuff, but unless she calls on them to actually protect her.
Oh.
And that is the important stage, is that it's important to call upon your guides, your ancestors, to protect you. It's one thing to know they're there, and my feeling is at the time maybe she wasn't as convinced that they could be there to protect her, that it could have been that. It could have just been residue from other things that caught up to her. But nonetheless, having talked to her after, I've explained to her to call upon them, ask them for protection, and do it every day. Don't just do it because you've had a bad night. It's something you practice every day. You ask your guardians, your guides, your spirits, your ancestors to protect you from anything that is negative, anything that can harm you.
So you have to be proactive to them. They will not be proactive towards you.
I mean, I could walk outside and think, okay, my dad trails around after me and he's going to look after me. But if I don't ask him to, then how does he know? Our spirits, our guides, our ancestors, people who have died, they'll keep an eye on us.
Okay.
But unless we ask them to help us, all they're there is to keep an eye on us.
Oh, okay. So they're not supposed to be proactive unless they're called upon.
I feel that they need to be called upon. Other people may say different.
Okay.
They may say, no, if they're there, they're going to help you. But I've always found, unless I ask them to help,
they don't.
They don't.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, lost a friend recently, and almost a year now. But anyways, I've been thinking about her, but I haven't really talked to her, little things, stuff like that. And then the other day I looked down and there was something that she had given me on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I thought, that can't be there because
it was over somewhere else.
It was somewhere else.
Okay.
In a locked box, no less.
Oh, you're kidding. No. Your own locked room mystery.
Yes. And I looked, and what it is a shamrock or a clover leaf on a horseshoe. Ah. And I thought, okay, I get the picture. I'll ask you to be with me and look after me now.
So you're believing truthfully that this item came out of the box and landed on the floor
to
remind you to ask for her and to have her involved in your life.
It's one thing to talk to her, which I do,
okay,
but to acknowledge her, it's not quite the same. I can talk to her and say, yeah, I know you're around, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like she always said she wanted to look after me. I've never asked her to.
Ah.
So now I said, okay, now I got it. You're more than welcome to keep an eye on me and make sure no harm comes to me.
Okay, do you have to do that every day? Or do you think this is like an open invitation?
This, for me, is an open invitation.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, when we were with DInah, she never showed that she's asked for anyone to look after her, because I don't know if she believed it.
Well, I have to admit, that night when we first met her, and you immediately said, you have two protectors. I don't think DInah realized that.
No.
So if it were me, I'd be like, number one, do I believe it? Number two, even if I do believe it, I wouldn't know to go, okay, you two protectors, help me.
Yeah.
So she didn't understand what she had to help her at her disposal at the time. Yeah. Okay.
Now she does.
So can not telling anything privately, but can you give us an idea of what you talked to her about to protect her and cleanse the situation? Because you mentioned to me you're going to do that for her.
Sage is a good one for cleansing, and it can be house sage, or you buy the little bundles, or in my particular case, I pack around, let's see if I have it still in my pocket, a sprig.
She pulls out, Darcy's pulling out a sprig of burnt sage.
Yeah.
Let me smell it.
And I keep it with me. So,
Wow, it does. It smells just like burnt sage.
so
Nice.
that, I always have protection.
Okay.
I have my stones that I carry with me for protection. And anytime I do any kind of travel, I ask Spirit to protect me. I never leave. So that's basically what I showed her what to do.
Okay.
See yourself in, if you can visualize it, you sit, you get your breathing in place, and then you visualize like a white shell all around you.
Right.
Like an egg.
Yeah, you were talking about that during
Yeah.
our episode with DInah. Yeah,
And
so that's
I
your
I
protection.
don't think she actually did it.
Right.
I should have made sure she did it,
Right.
but she didn't. I do believe I said, you might have some problems because we're
Right,
talking.
yes, we're might be triggering a
Yeah.
few things because we were there that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, causing some issues. So I guess would have been better to say, ask for help.
Yep.
That's always a good thing for all of us, just generally in life.
Yeah.
How are people supposed to know what you need things if you don't communicate it?
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the dead.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay.
That was excellent, Darcy. Thank you again.
All right.
And we'll look forward to another Seeing Dead People in a
Yes.
while. Okay.
will.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
This has been a program of Radio Sydney.